Right, so an obvious question at the minute is what's going to happen with Conor McGregor. Um, I mean, when we were getting into the UFC, obviously he was a big part of it. We've got a little bit, well, not a little bit. We've got a major soft spot for him. For selfish reasons, I want to see him fight again. There's nothing like it. But if I ask you right now, point blank, does Conor fight again? What you say?
Point blank, no, he doesn't. I don't think he does. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if he doesn't either. I mean, you see a lot of viral videos and stuff of him. He doesn't look like he's particularly in love with it anymore, does he? And I know that's not for me to say. That's only him who knows that, and only his coaches who know that. But given sort of recent performances, I don't think he is fully immersed in anymore. And how can you be? You can't really expect him to. And he's got so many other ventures going on, and he's got so much money. Like it was the old saying, wasn't it? It's hard to get up and run when you're sleeping in silk sheets. Like it's just I can't see it. No, I can't. As you just touched on there, I did have like a bit of a fondness towards the sport before McGregor, but he was massive in getting me into the sport. So
Yeah.
the 2014 me wants him back desperately, but then also there's a part of me where I think it's only going to be negative for his legacy if he does come back, and that's what worries me.
Yeah. To quote the man himself, he says he's got the silk sheets, he's got the satin sheets, he's got the Egyptian cotton pillows, he's got fucking everything, but he still wants to fight. I mean, I don't believe him, to be honest. And I do to an extent, but I don't think the Chandler fight is the one for him that's getting him out of bed. And I'll be honest, I also sort of think he knows it's a massive risk as well. Let's be honest, that fight is fireworks for that first 2.5 minutes. Either fighter can be knocked down, knocked out. The only fella we've ever seen knock McGregor out was Poirier, and it was a flash knockout on the ground in Abu Dhabi. When you watch it back, he was out. Like if he hit him again, he was stone cold out.
Yeah.
Chandler's got a lot of power, especially in the first couple of minutes. I think it's a dangerous one to come back to, and I think that's part of the reason for what we're seeing now. Now, I also don't think he does fight again, to be honest. The only person I could see him fighting potentially is a Nate Diaz trilogy because he fancies himself in it. Other than that, I think his days are done.
Yeah, for me now, the only thing I want to see Conor do if he's going to do any form of fighting, I don't mind if he gets involved in sort of that celebrity fighting world. I don't love the celebrity fighting world, but if it means I get one more Conor McGregor fight night, then I'm willing to put up with that. If he fights like a Jake Paul or something outside of the UFC, I think if he comes back to the UFC, given that he's Conor McGregor, he can't fight an unranked fighter. It's just not the way it's done. In boxing, you get your Tyson Fury come back and he fought Sefer or whatever he was called. Conor McGregor can't do that. He can't come back and fight an unranked lightweight. It's just not how the UFC works. And I'll be totally honest, there's not a name 1 to 15 who I think he beats.
Wow.
Genuinely.
What, at lightweight?
At lightweight, I don't think there's a name who he beats.
There's a mega fight at lightweight. Mega fight, and he's number 15.
Yeah, but I think Paddy would take it, definitely, wouldn't he?
I think Paddy would potentially submit to him. I'll be honest, if it's the age-old question that I ask every single time he comes off a layoff. What Conor is it? Is it the Conor that beats Alvarez? Is it the Conor that beats Cerrone? Looked impressive. Okay, Cerrone was over the hill, but I tell you what, mate, he sniped him from the get-go. Is it the Conor that fought Poirier in Abu Dhabi? Which, when you watch it back, it wasn't actually a bad fight. He just really didn't have an answer for the leg kicks. It's what Conor is turning up. If it's an old sniper Conor, I mean, the way anyone at lightweight that could hang with him back then, the game's changed a lot. There's a lot of questions there. If it goes to the ground, he can get submitted quick, sharp by Paddy.
Just to touch on something quite quick there that you've just brought to my mind there. Obviously, it's that, like, the style of fighter that you are, the type of fighter that you are, can be influenced. The layoff can influence that more dependent on the style of fighter. And given that Conor McGregor is all about time and he's all about in and out, sharp movements, he slips by inches. He doesn't pull back with his chin up. He slips by inches and throws his shot. that's gone. If you're not fighting, that is gone. That sharpness is gone, and that takes 2 or 3 fights to get back. So to come back and think you're going to be as slick and as sharp against someone who matches up stylistically not so great against you like a Chandler could put him away in a couple of minutes' time, but Chandler hasn't been massively active either.
I was just about to say one thing there though is I don't think Chandler's ever had a layoff this long in his career, and now it's approaching 2 years with the increase from International Fight Week now.
Yeah.
You've also got to factor in layoff for Chandler. Conor's used to coming off layoffs. Every fight out of his last 3 or 4 have been a layoff. Each one of them's got slightly longer as well, which isn't great because he's getting older. But Chandler is also coming off a layoff. Now, like I just said then, I can't see that fight happening. And I think the sort of nail in the coffin for me was Chandler's tweet. Did you see it?
Yeah, I've seen it. He's saying he wants to move on, but he might be pushing a little pressure point, mightn't he?
I think personally, you know, in the words of Uncle Chael, where he says, and by the way, Chandler's been told something there.
Yeah.
There's been a whisper to him that, look, this is, you know, this isn't happening in December. And he's gone, do you know what, fuck this. This is 2 years now. I don't think that tweet personally was a little jib at McGregor to like try and get him to hurry up. I think that was something's been said to Chandler by the UFC, and he's gone, right, this fight isn't happening. I need to move on. And to be fair, you touched on it before where you said maybe he can fight a Paddy or something like that. He very well could, but he took a long time off there waiting for a Conor McGregor payday that was going to be 10x, whatever the Paddy payday is or whatever the next fight payday is.
Well, as you said in one of our previous pods, there's a Conor McGregor clause in all the lightweight contracts. Of course, he is 5, 10x, whatever anyone else is. But you've got to think Paddy's probably 2 or 3x what other fights would be in that division. So
definitely, yeah.
I would say so. For Chandler to take a Paddy fight, I think he'd have to be paid handsomely given the hype. It's a main event, isn't it? It'd be a main event.
Do you think? I mean, it has to be the main event of a fight night because there's no belt. Couldn't be a pay-per-view main event, which makes me think there's a little bit less money. But do you think Chandler's been looked after by the UFC now while he's waiting for McGregor?
I don't know. It's a hard one, isn't it? Because it's the red panty night fight, isn't it? You would wait around for it given the opportunity, and he's probably thought for 2 years now. It was certain. It was he's just waiting. But what you got to understand is Conor McGregor's a law unto himself, isn't he? He doesn't answer to anybody. He doesn't answer to Dana. He doesn't answer to anybody. He answers to himself. And when he wants to go, he'll go. And I think he does. I think he does want to fight again, but he gets fighting confused with training for fighting. I don't think he wants to be in camp, and I think he just likes fighting.
Yeah.
If you get in there tomorrow with Chandler, both throw gloves on and have a scrap, no camp, just go in and have it. He'd be there, hands down. He'd love it. But I just don't think he can commit himself with everything he's got going on.
Yeah, I think he needs a training camp, but to be honest, you've just hit the nail on the head. I think he likes fighting.
Yeah.
He just likes having a fight. He has a fight everywhere he goes. Every time you see him in the news. Yeah. He was in a funeral in Liverpool last year where he apparently boxed some kid's head off and got out of there. He fights every weekend in Dublin, apparently. I mean, they're all rumours, but I think at the end of the day, he likes to fight.
Yeah.
And he's finding it hard now. Whilst he needs the training camp, he's finding it hard to complete one. And I think that's partially down to his body failing him from abusing it. You know,
yeah, look, if what came out about the recent fight, which he pulled out of on 2 weeks' notice, if that's true and he pulled out given he had a broken toe, he is now in a position where he should pull out of them fights, because if you've seen sort of documentaries from back in the day, he never pulled out of anything, no matter what injury he had, and he's earned that right. So I was glad when that was the case. I thought, right, he's actually taking his career seriously. I was glad that he pulled out, and he knows he's only got 2 or 3 fights left, and he wants to be optimum Conor McGregor, and I took that as a positive. But then the backlash since that, and some of the videos you've seen, and even the more recent ones of him at the bare knuckle, and he's down in cans. And I know we might look. Floyd Mayweather used to put vlogs out, and the night before his fight, he'd eat a Burger King. It's fake. It's not real. Of course, he doesn't do that all the time. He might have just had one cam for the cameras, but you don't know. But it doesn't look good. It's not a good look.
Yeah. I honestly couldn't agree more with that. I was happy when he pulled out, but everything since is just like, you know, it's gone back. I mean, I think he's look, he's done every single thing possibly that he could have done, that he said he would do. Got all the money in the world that he can't ever spend.
Yeah.
You're not going to be normal. You're not going to abide by normal rules. If you fancy going for a bevy on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the morning or a Wednesday at 11 o'clock at night, you're going to go and do it because normal rules don't apply to you. The
Yeah.
problem that he's got is he's still trying to be involved in a sport where to be at the pinnacle of that sport, which he is still at, whether you think it's there on merit or whether it's just there on superstardom, you can't be doing them things. And if he comes back, having done them, we all know what we're going to see.
As we've touched on throughout the whole thing, I totally agree with you there. But as we've touched on, he might still have that fighter's instinct. He might still want to fight. He might still want to get in there. I still feel the same as when I was 27, but he just might not have that same drive to do it.